And here we go. Here we go. Can y'all hear me? I hear a faint echo.
Microphone. There you go. I got you. All right. There you go. I think y'all can hear me now out there. Welcome to Real Talk Memphis. It is the 6th day of February 2023. And we are on the air 6 o'clock straight up on what has been a beautiful day. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. Very happy to be with you on this day that the Lord has made. We're going to have a good show for you tonight, we hope. And we're going to probably try to access a lot of information in reference to where we are tonight. First things first, of course, how do you get this fine piece of radio broadcasting? Well, you can do it any number of ways. We are on live right now on the radio, 91.7 WYXR on the FM side. You can also catch us on the app, WYXR app. We are also available on the TuneIn app. And, of course, we are on Facebook Live. At least I think we are. I don't know what's going on with that screen there. I see two things going on. But we're supposed to be on Facebook Live here tonight. And then tomorrow, once they post the show, we will be on YouTube. And we, of course, are a podcast. So you can catch us tomorrow wherever it is you get your podcast. So, again, very happy to be here with you on this evening. In terms of our guest tonight, we hope that we are going to provide a good show for you. I'm sorry. You're hearing echoes, and that is my phone, and that is my bad. There we go. Cut everything off here. We are going to have several good guests tonight. The first being City Council Chairman Martavius Jones. And, of course, what is ever present on all of our minds is the Tyree Nichols case. The City Council will meet tomorrow afternoon in what I am assuming will be a contentious meeting because there are still many protests going on. There are a lot of questions that still haven't been answered in reference to his tragic death. And I'm sure they are going to face a lot of slings and arrows come tomorrow. We'll talk to him about what to expect. He did issue a promise to the protesters and to our citizens that the City Council will do everything it can to try to reassess what is going on with the Memphis Police Department in terms of the culture, in terms of just, the training. And there is a great trust that has been broken. I don't think anybody would argue that. And, legislative action needs to be taken, if it can, locally in terms of policies and procedures, statewide, of course, and then maybe even on the national front. So we will ask him about all of that in just a few minutes. After him, we will speak with Gary Rosenfeld. Gary is the president, or actually the CEO, of MATA Transit here in town. And they have done something rather interesting in terms of a partnership with an organization that will actually help to pay employees for child care. Child care is very important to a lot of people, and it's very expensive as well. So they have gotten together with an organization called Tutris, which actually will help to pay money per month toward child care programs. And we're going to talk a little bit with Gary about that. And, of course, some of the other things that MATA is doing out here in our community. And a bit later on, we'll speak with Beverly Anderson. Beverly is a tax expert. It is tax time. I know. None of us like to hear that, but there are a couple of new tax laws that are in effect this year that you may need to know about. And also, she is someone who talks about diversified small business. And if you all are interested in being an entrepreneur, she can help you with that in terms of training. So, good show on tap for tonight, as we always do this time of the day. We celebrate birthdays. If you celebrated your birthday this past weekend, or today, or even this upcoming week, this is for you. This is the shout out that we do each and every Monday night. But I can't do it unless I say, hit it, Bryn.
Happy birthday!
This is one of those rare occasions where there's actually a short list of names today who are celebrating birthdays. So let's get to it. Happy birthday to Brianna Davidson. Happy birthday, Lauren Marlene. Brenda Salisbury celebrating today, as is DeCorin McKinney. That's all I got. If you know folks who are celebrating a birthday, give them a special shout out from all of us here at Real Talk Memphis. And we hope to be with you next year to celebrate your next trip around the sun. Brent, thank you. All right, so as we jump into the news and notes, it was another very busy and tragic weekend here in the city. We had a total of 6 shootings, which resulted in 3 deaths. And once again, in our city, we just can't seem to get past all of the unnecessary violence that we see here on a daily basis. There, of course, is back to the Tyree Nichols situation. There is a 7th officer who has been suspended or relieved of duty from the Memphis Police Department. We don't know what his name is. We don't know what his rank is. And we don't know anything about this person other than he has been relieved of duty. And maybe we will get some information as time continues to move along. Preston Hemphill was fired last week. He's the white police officer that was a member of the Scorpion unit that was on scene at the Nichols situation. He's the one that fired the taser initially and, made some derogatory statement about catching Nichols as he ran off from being tased by him and also pepper sprayed. He was relieved or fired from his position for many charges, several charges, including personal conduct and being untruthful or lying on his police report. As I said, there is a 7th officer that's been relieved of duty. We don't know anything about him, but we are waiting. Also waiting on the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, who discovered that there was a cruiser on scene there. We don't know why they were there. No one internally seemed to know why they were there or even if they were there. 2 of the officers there have been relieved of duty pending the results of an internal investigation. We have not received that as well. But late this afternoon, from the sheriff's office, we did receive notice that a deputy is now off duty pending an internal administrative investigation into use of force arrest. This is back in November. And apparently we're just hearing about it now because the video of that incident seems to be floating around on social media. So they decided to put out a release today basically saying that this officer is once again out on administrative leave pending results of this investigation. That is all the information that we have on this. Of course, it came out late this afternoon. So things just continue to percolate. In political news, then there were, I think it's 12 now. I don't know how many of you are aware that your former mayor, Willie W. Harrington, has declared that he is going to be a candidate for the mayorship. Once again, this year he is running. He is 82 years of age. He threw his hat in the ring late this afternoon on YouTube, I think it is. So what do you think about that? W. Willie Harrington, at the age of 82, feels like he still has something left in the tank in order to lead our city. He ran last in 2019 against current Mayor Strickland. So again, this list continues to swell up. And also, there is another candidate that has declared for the race. He is City Councilman Frank Colvett. He's a Republican, and he decided last week that, or probably just a few days ago rather, that he was also throwing his hat into the ring. So a lot going on here. I'm pretty sure things will be thinned out at some particular point in time, because when you have all these candidates who have, folks, backing them and all throughout the city, you're going to see a splitting of the vote, and you know what happens when that happens as well. So let's just keep a point of view on all of this, and it'll unfold in its own course in due time. Back to the Nichols case. The mayor, Strickland, has asked for an outside review from the federal government involving some of the policies and procedures of the Memphis Police Department, taking a deeper dive and a closer look at things. He also asked the International Association of Chiefs of Police to also take a look at what is happening here. If you saw the headline in the paper today, you saw that there were questions about just the type of job Chief Davis is doing. Asked of the mayor today, he wanted to understand how he feels about things in terms of her running of the police department. And he said basically that he is behind her, he does support her, and thinks that she has done a good job in reference to this case. We'll say that she very quickly acted after what she saw in terms of the video on this case and removed the officers from her force. But there is an active and ongoing investigation that is continuing into this case. So we're sort of seeing little dribs and drabs right now in terms of information. They're being pushed pretty hard. There is more video that the public has not seen that is set to be released maybe in the next couple of weeks. The police department says after they complete the investigation, DA Mulroy is also, again, they're continuing to look at things as they get information in terms of what may happen as more charges might be issued for maybe the current or former police officers and maybe some others that we are not aware of. Of course, 3 paramedics were fired last week because they failed to render aid in this particular situation as well. So yeah, this is an ongoing thing, and there are still a lot of missing parts and pieces. By the way, program note: next week I am scheduled to speak with District Attorney Steve Mulroy on this very program. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward, and hopefully that will continue and that will be a part of the show next week. But we have Martavius Jones, who is the chairman of the city council. He was on TV plenty during the release of the video. You saw him all over national news, and we're going to have him in just a few minutes, and that will make me take our first break right now. And when we come back, we are going to speak with City Council Chairman Martavius Jones on this edition of Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. So stay with us. Don't go away. First break, right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by the Onstage at the Halloran Center season, presenting the Orchestra Unplugged, Copeland Appalachian Spring, on Friday, March 3rd. Robert Moody and members of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra bring you inside the minds and music of composers to discover connections and meaning to works of art. More information at orpheum-memphis.com. The Onstage at the Halloran Center season presents the Memphis Songwriters Series, hosted by Mark Edgar Stewart. Mark and his musical guests take audiences on a journey behind the music, sharing stories and introducing new works. The next event is on Thursday, February 16th. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening in the city. Glad to have you with us. And of course, I want to, before we even get into the interview, I want to say hello to all the folks who are chiming in or checking us out on Facebook Live this evening. Good evening to you all. Glad to have you all with us. And I'm also glad to have our first guest with us. We are still, as a community, reeling and really feeling the emotion of what happened to one of our own, Tyree Nichols, at the hands of some police officers who are no longer police officers in this city. My first guest is a longtime city councilman. He is the chairman of the city council currently, and he is Martavius Jones. And Martavius, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me, Chip.
Yes, sir. So, as I stated, all of us are reeling from the emotion of what happened to Tyree Nichols. Of course, you're one of our leading city representatives, and you were featured quite prominently on many national news programs all across the country about a week or so ago in terms of this. Let me ask you today how you were feeling in the aftermath of the Nichols murder.
It was quite an emotional roller coaster, Chip, but I'm pleased to say I'm doing much better now. If anything, I'm energized and eager to get to work to try to put something in place to try to prevent this from happening again. I've in past interviews, I've given credit to the police director for the swift action that she took to hold those officers accountable. I've given credit to Mr. Mulroy, who serves as our district attorney, for bringing charges. Now it's up to the council. We gotta act. The ball is in our court. So I'm excited about us having some real discussion to put things, to review what's taking place. And we are having, unfortunately, we have the hindsight to look and see what didn't work, but try to put some things in place to essentially say, let's try to prevent this from happening again in our community.
I saw you in one of the protests that happened, on that rainy day about a week and a half ago or so, and you were standing out with the protesters who are, by the way, speaking of the protesters, and I said it before and I'll say it again, they have really lived up to the creed of not only Dr. King, but the family's wishes in terms of a forceful demonstration, wanting answers, wanting results, but doing it non-violently. And as one of our political leaders, you have to feel good and kind of respect that, do you not?
Absolutely, because I say democracy is a contact sport. There have been so many decisions, Chip, where we haven't heard from the public because nobody reached out to us, nobody called us, nobody emailed us. I'm actually encouraged by seeing the community step up because I represent them.
Exactly.
But I can't read thousands and thousands of minds. I don't have a monopoly on what a great idea is. And so, I look forward to their engaging us and telling us what their views are and try to get, and my job is to help put it into codified, to help put it into code, to have it codified where we can do some of these things going forward. But no, I encourage this type of protest.
You and J.B. Smiley in particular were out with these protesters, and you took the bullhorn and you said, "Look," and they were pointing at you and they were saying, "Look, you need to do something. You need to do something." And you said, "Put it on us." You have been very open about saying it's our responsibility now. The law enforcement end, the police chief did her job. The DA is continuing to do his job, but now it's on us. So I'll ask you realistically, what, if anything, can the city council do in terms of looking in to the police department? Of course, the mayor has brought in some outside help. He's asking for the federal government to step in here and take a microscope and look inside the department. But what can the city council do, if anything, about this?
Well, one of the things now, still keep in mind, we live in a city where we have a weak council, strong mayor form of government.
Right.
However, how we speak with the power of the purse, that being the money. And so the council only speaks also through resolution, what we pass by 7 votes. So there are, in my opinion, some common sense things that we can do. And one of those things that's been mentioned is that we should prohibit unmarked police cars from making traffic stops. Now, that may not have prevented this situation because you're always going to have bad actors to do so. But if we codify that and we say to the police director, this is the safety measures that we want to have in our community, we do those. Now, I want to hear, I'm not just going to have some type of knee-jerk reaction. I want to hear. I'm not calling for. Now, I'm just one of 13.
Sure.
I'm not calling for the disbanding of special units. There could be a purpose for them. What we need to have is an open dialogue and see what are the benefits of it, see if it's working before we just say, do away with those things. So those are just two things that come to mind that we can have the discussion about what the council can do from a resolution standpoint to try to prevent some of these things from happening going forward.
In terms of the current leadership at the police department, various people have various opinions on things, and it bears taking a closer look. And is that one of the things that the council can do and wants to do, in really taking a look at the internal structure? Because one word you hear constantly is the culture, of the department. What, if anything, can you do? And do you want to dig into that a little bit deeper?
Well, for one thing, when you say, looking at it, I've heard that culture discussion too. So from a leadership standpoint, the council has no purview over any division director, the police division being one of those. That's all up to the city mayor. Mm-hmm. Because I'm not going to sit here and say, well, we're asking for Chief Davis to resign, because technically speaking, she will be resigning December 31st, because we will have a new mayor come January 1st. Mm-hmm. And that new mayor can accept the resignation, or that new mayor can choose to continue the services of the police director as well as any other city director. So from that standpoint, I think that I'm looking at it from the standpoint, what can we do for the next 11 months, or at this point, the next 11 months that we have for this year while I'm in office and this council remains of its current makeup right now. It's going to take, if we are talking about that culture change, it's surely going to take more than 11 months. But one of the things we do address is what can be some training aspects. Let's have a review. Let's have a discussion about these training mechanisms. One other thing that I just thought about from a council standpoint, we need to have a review about these body cameras, mm-hmm. as well as these sky cops, because as you're looking at what are the repercussions for somebody who fails or has a pattern of not turning on their body cams, that type of person right now, there needs to be accountability for that type of action. One of the other things too that I have a question about too is when we look at that footage, for about a couple of minutes in, we see, based upon the camera angle, that camera is facing left. At some point, it turns right and captures everything.
Shit. So whoever was manning the camera, right, was responsible for that scene, right?
So was that an individual? Was it automatic based upon motion? I don't know.
Yeah.
So those are some of the questions that that hopefully will come out of the discussion that we're having tomorrow.
In a lot of people that I've spoken with, and just the general overview of all of this, this feels different. I mean, we've seen incidents forever in terms of cops and being aggressive, and white cops, black suspects, or black victims, and things like that. But this is different, and it feels different here in our city. Do you feel that because of the fact that there were 5 black officers who basically attacked and murdered, a young black man?
No, I don't. What I feel, though, is that there's that culture that you talked about. Mm-hmm. That culture said that it's okay to treat a black motorist different than a white motorist. That's that culture. And so we need to work on that culture, and hopefully we can have that training to essentially say, it's that culture that basically said when you go up to a motorist, based upon what we've seen in the body cam video, who doesn't seem to be combative, doesn't seem to be resisting,
right.
It's that culture, more so than what happened to be the colors of the perpetrators or the officers in this incident.
There was an aggressiveness to this that everyone seems to be talking about from the very outset of what we've seen on that video.
Instantly.
Yeah, instantly. Right. I mean, and that's extraordinarily troubling, in and of itself, as to why the aggressiveness from somebody who was clearly complying. You're going to hear it tomorrow at the city council meeting, and I'm sure you've been hearing it ever since. There is a mistrust, there is a fear, there is an anger, there is a frustration that is all over this city right now. And we all feel it on a daily basis. And I guess people are just desperately trying to figure out, what needs to be done here to try to really bring, because this is a worldwide event. Everybody in the world has seen what has happened here. Yeah. And how are we moving forward? How do we move forward? But you're going to get that question 1,000 times. What do we do from here? How do we move forward and try to regain the trust of the citizens who put their trust in our law enforcement?
Well, one thing, I don't think that this was an instance where this is the overall behavior of the entire Memphis Police Department. You have people that go out every day, that put their lives on the line, who don't behave in this manner. We rely upon them to help keep our city safe. So let me be clear about that. However, we do need to identify those bad actors, those who have repeated patterns of this type of behavior, and do something about it. I think that a lot of people want to take credit to essentially say, well, or maybe not to take credit, but to attribute, well, if we simply had more police officers on the street, then crime is going to go down. If we look at the nature of most of our crimes and the fact that they take place largely between or among people who know one another, we can have 8 times more officers, and it really wouldn't have that much an effect on what our crime rate is. And so for those officers that we do have, we need to make sure that we don't have those officers who have a history or who have had past behaviors of being abusive to motorists who have used excessive force. And when they do, we need to hold them accountable.
One final thing, we had a police officer, you just referenced a minute, we had a police officer who was shot in the line of duty on Friday at the library over on White Station and Poplar. He is in critical condition, and he was responding to a scene. And the suspect didn't comply. It seems as if, Martavius, that there is no regard whatsoever for our law enforcement professionals by these individuals who are committing these crimes. Thankfully, the other officer that responded put that suspect down. He's dead. It has to be a very difficult balance to weigh the lawlessness that we see on a daily basis out here with the law enforcement who are actually trying to do the job, which is what you just said a few minutes ago. We have to be able to segment one from the other, but we also have to be able to figure out how we move forward in this effort. Correct?
Right. And it's still, I take my hat off to those people who have received the calling to do this work. But Chip, part of the emotional part of it is realizing that could have been you, that could have been me in that particular vehicle. And you and I wouldn't behave in any type of manner that would cause, and it seems like Mr. Nichols, from what we saw, what the video footage that was available, he didn't present any type of threat to those officers that would warrant that type of response for them. Right. And so that's, but I still would say that's the culture, and we need to be judged individually, still balancing the fact that you're going to have some folks out there who are not going to have the officer's best interest in heart, and it's a delicate balancing act that they have to do.
Martavius Jones, City Council Chairman, a lot more questions than answers. You have been very forthright in your thoughts and your opinions that you've given. Best of luck as we continue to move forward and we continue to heal from this very difficult situation. Thank you for coming on the show tonight. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Chip. Good to see you, partner.
You too. Take care, man. Thank you. All right.
Bye-bye.
Martavius Jones, ladies and gentlemen, a very open, honest, and frank conversation about where we are with the Tyree Nichols case and how we tend to move forward in this progress. We are going to take another break, and when we come back, we are going to shift gears a bit, and we're going to talk about a very interesting partnership, so to speak, with Meta and its employees, and it has a lot to do with childcare. This is Real Talk Memphis for a Monday evening. I am Chip. We will be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by Shell Days Music Festival, presented by Mempho, April 21st and 22nd at Overton Park Shell. Shell Days will feature 2 days of music with Trampled by Turtles, Southern Avenue, Leftover Salmon, Neil Francis, Paul Thorne, and Bailey Bigger. More information at memphopresents.com.
You're listening. But are you in the know? The WYXR weekly newsletter is the best source for keeping up with events at WYXR, whether they are happening on our airwaves, behind the scenes, or out in the community. Log on to newsletter.wyxr.org to sign up for our mailing list and keep yourself in the loop.
Do you want to place your company in front of Memphis cultural consumers and influencers? How about interacting with them in a meaningful way? WYXR's second annual stereo sessions at the Memphis Listening Lab is back. We are looking for sponsors to support WYXR's exploration of unsung albums from the musical history of Memphis. For more information, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. I hope everything is going well with all of you out there. My next guest is someone I've not had on the show before, and I'm happy to be able to make his acquaintance this evening. He is Gary Rosenfeld, and Gary is the CEO of Matter Transit here in our city. And Gary, thank you for taking some time and coming on Real Talk tonight. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Chip. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So before I ask you a little bit about some of the new things that are going on with Matter, it was brought to my attention that you are one of the companies in the country who has signed on with another organization that's basically dedicated to issues of child care. Which is a very, very important, and more importantly, being able to afford it. Doing some statistical work here, checking in, looks like it takes about $9,000 a year for child care costs in the state of Tennessee. So you're partnering with an organization called Tutris, which helps businesses looking for child care benefit programs. So tell me, in terms of this partnership, what exactly is Matter doing for its employees in regards to this?
Well, Chip, it's pretty simple. In order to attract the next generation of employees to come work for us, we have to meet their specific needs, and their needs of somebody today are different than those employees that came to work for us 30 or 40 or even 50 years ago. Mm-hmm. So childcare is now something that is a major stressor, if you will, in our employees' lives. And our unusual nature of our time of day that we operate makes it that much more difficult to try to find childcare that might be available at 4 o'clock in the morning when so many people come to work for us. Mm. So we signed on with Tutris to help parents be able to easily identify potential childcare arrangements within the community. Mm-hmm. It allows them to search and vet out the child care organizations and be able to find the safest, most nurturing and affordable programs. And the beauty of it is it's all in real time. So somebody can sit at their home and be able to search via the internet and get this information. So in transit across our industry, 9 out of 10 agencies across the country are struggling to hire bus operators or mechanics or administrative teams. And this is just one of those things. It's one of our one of our tools in our toolkit to try to attract and retain good, solid people that are looking to have a quality experience for their kids.
Talk about the financial end of this that you all are providing, which I think is really extraordinary in and of itself.
Yeah, we made a conscious decision that we would attempt to buy down some of the cost of childcare, and our employees can get a $200 a month stipend, if you will, to offset some of the cost of childcare. And there's so many different ups and extras in the childcare market. If you're late to pick up your child, or if it's too early, or any of these other things.
Sure.
So hopefully this $200 will help level the playing field and allow somebody to be able to sign on with a dedicated childcare provider that can ease their minds about where their children are at and how they're thriving.
In case you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we are speaking with Gary Rosenfeld. He is the CEO of Matter Transit, and talking to us about a very unique and beneficial program for employees that are have young children that are looking and are dealing with the child care issue, which is a very, very big issue in this country, and giving them, a cash infusion, if you will, per month, $200 for what I'm to understand, towards that child care. So what this does, Gary, really for you is, as you said at the outset here, this provides another tool in your toolbox to be able to recruit good people for the many positions that you have, and dealing with what you do on a daily basis. This really is something that people would pay attention to. Am I correct in that?
They certainly are paying attention to it. We noticed in the first 2 weeks that we had the program available, 10 different families signed up to be able to utilize the program.
Yeah.
And again, there's the obtaining of labor in the country right now is such that there is no silver bullet solution to solving a company's labor issues. So you have to use more of a like I said, individual tools to help people that might, this benefit is going to mean something to this smaller group of people, and we'll come up with other benefits that will be beneficial to other small groups of people. And hopefully by the time we have a dozen or so different types of benefits, we've created an employer of choice situation for people in Memphis, and we provide those benefits so that we can be able to provide the high quality of service that the city and our community demands of their public transit.
MATA is really a jewel in our city, and it's a much needed commodity for a lot of folks. For a long time, there had seemed to be a bit of a struggle in terms of the importance of it from the county perspective and the city perspective. But I think they've come to realize just how valuable a commodity you all are, and they're becoming more of a partner with you all, in terms of grants and other things, really giving you some of the legs that you need to really compete and to make things better in terms of the overall transit system here in the city, correct?
Yes, we've been lucky over the last couple of years in partnership with Shelby County and the city of Memphis to restore some funding that sort of went away at the beginning of the COVID pandemic, but it's all been restored at this point. But the county and the city have come together to provide a dedicated source of funding for the future. It will cover about 40% of our local budget, if you will.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not everything,
sure,
but it's definitely a great start, great step in the right direction. And what this has done is it's allowed us to take that same information to our state and federal stakeholders, which resulted in unprecedented federal investment in MATA in last year, which will lead to a new facility, a new BRT bus route that'll go north-south, and probably 24 more electric buses, which will impact our community in the form of better air quality and reduced noise and all the wonderful things that come with electric vehicles. But the partnerships between the city and the county and our state, TDOT and FTA, are very important. And these different groups look at how each other invests in the program.
Sure.
And when they see the local investment go up, the federal side at least is willing to increase their understanding of our program and hand us some additional federal funds.
Well, listen, I thought this was a very important component of what you all are trying to do, along with everything else. And it seems like you're up and away in terms of moving forward with MATA, and there's a lot of good and exciting things coming down the pike. Hearing you talk about that, and we're very excited about that as a city. As I am having you on the show, Gary, I really appreciate you taking time. I know everybody's busy out there. I never had a chance to meet you or talk to you, but I really enjoyed the conversation. And I hope that you guys will come back when you have, updates and new initiatives and new programs and things for our citizens, so we can put that out there as well.
Chip, thanks very much. I look forward to a long relationship with you and your program.
Thank you so much, Gary. Have a great evening.
You too.
All right. Gary Rosenfeld, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of MATA, and MATA seems to be, with the support of the city and the county and even the state, look forward to doing some big things for us here in the city of Memphis, in addition to what they already do. We're going to take our final break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about something nobody wants to talk about, which is taxes. That's just one of the topics with my next guest in our conversation on this Monday evening. This is Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. You know who you are. We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest? Or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page, and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is community radio. So why not help us spread our sound through the community? Be a part of our growth by sharing our station and our mobile app with a friend. Visit us at WYXR_Memphis on social and tag your closest pals. Let someone you love know about 91.7 FM. It's easy. Our sound is made just for you, so let's make it louder.
WYXR is supported by the Orpheum Theater, presenting Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater on March 3rd through the 5th. The dancers of Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater bring contemporary works by modern choreographers and classic favorites from the repertory, including Revelations. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
Like what you're hearing? WYXR is a listener-supported station. Help keep the sound of Memphis alive by donating at WYXR.org.
WYXR doesn't go to sleep at night. We keep the music moving. Memphis music, that is. When our DJs clock out, our automation clocks in with music right from our community. Produced, performed, and written by Memphians, or in Memphis. Some are hits, and some are rarely heard, but they all tell the story of one of the world's greatest music cities. Visit WYXR.org for playlist and scheduling information. Email submissions@WYXR.org to let us hear your Memphis music. We may just play it.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. And it's always good to have you all with us. A lot of folks on the Facebook Live line tonight. A lot of you out there tonight paying us a little time, giving us a little time, and I truly, humbly appreciate it, as always. My next guest is someone, a new friend I've never met before, but brought to my attention. It's tax season, whether we like it or not, and most of us don't. But it's tax season, and there are some new laws that go into effect this year that could affect how you do what you do, and maybe if you're used to getting a refund, how that works as well. So we're going to talk about that and a few other things with Miss Beverly Anderson. And Beverly, it's good to see you, and it's great to have you on Real Talk Memphis.
Thank you, my new friend.
Yes, it's good to have you, and welcome to the show. So we are talking, we're about getting into tax time now. We're all getting our little forms from our employers and things like that. There are a couple of things that people may not know that they may need to know in terms of a couple of changes in the tax laws this year.
Yes, and they'll be surprised. We'll have people that say, well, I didn't get as much as I got last year, or why do I have to pay this year? A lot of people will find that happening with them.
Yeah.
The biggest tax laws that I think that would affect most people, especially your listeners, are those tax laws changes around the child tax credit.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Tell us about income tax credit.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, okay, well, what was happening is because, of course, like I'm sure you was into too, in the pandemic for the last 3 years.
Sure.
And so there was a lot of pandemic money, that's what I call it, where people were getting extra funds, extra refunds based on their children. They were getting also the SNAP benefits.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of benefits that were happening during that time. However, now we're back to almost pre-COVID tax laws. And so one of the things that's happening with the child tax credit is people will see a reduction in that credit.
Okay.
So they will still kind of get some credit. For instance, there's an increase in age allowance that had expired. A child must not have been 17 now by the end of 2022. So one time it was kind of open.
Okay.
Again, in light of the pandemic. The initial amount for child tax credit is $2,000. That includes, of course, a maximum additional credit of $1,500. So again, that's changing for those who are claiming children.
Okay.
So and I always like to tell people now, you may not want to sell your children this year.
Okay.
Because you don't need
wait on that a little bit. We need wait on that a little bit. I got it. I get it.
Because you're gonna need all of that now this year, Chip, for that. Again, the maximum credit increase is $6,900, a little more than $6,900 for 3 or more children. That's why I said you may not want to sell them this year.
Yeah, I got you.
Because
I got you.
You get a little bit more in your earned income tax, but the child tax credit itself is what's going to be what's decreased.
Is that the one? Is that the biggest one? Is there another one? Is there another law that's changing this year that people need to look out for?
Well, the standard deduction. Okay, and of course, the standard deduction based on your household. For a married couple that's filing jointly is $25,900. And again, the standard deduction is just what's going to come off of your taxable income.
Okay.
If you're head of household, and the head of household, it did increase by $600 this year. But I want to clarify, just because you are single and head of your own household does not qualify you for a head of household style filing status.
Why?
Because, and I get that, why?
Why? You can't throw that out there and just leave it just hanging. You need to tell us why. That's a big hit. Yeah.
To qualify for head of household, you have to have a qualifying dependent. And typically it's children.
Okay. So don't sell the children. You got to have a child, right? You got to have a child or children, right? In terms of that, right?
Exactly. Some person has to qualify you for head of household. And then, of course, the single or married filing separate. And again, I want to talk about that one. That one also increased by $400 to $12,950.
Okay.
Now, with that filing status, especially married filing separate, because I get this every year, is when my spouse and I don't file together.
Right.
That's different. That's your marital status versus your filing status.
All right. Okay.
So it's different. But just because you all don't file together does not mean you automatically in a married filing separate status.
So if you did it like that though, is there a change in the amount that if you're going to get a refund you might get versus filing the other way that you just
because if you do married filing separate status, then first thing you won't have any credits. You won't get any. You're gonna lose whatever credits you can get. You do better filing single.
Really?
Yeah, then do married filing. I mean, you get nothing. You don't get any mortgage credits. You really have. And you're being taxed at a higher tax bracket, at the highest bracket, just like a single person.
Well, this experience here talking to you has already been a roller coaster with you get more, you get less, you get, don't do that. But anyway, we understand, and we have to, we have to follow the rules of the road here in terms of all of that. Now, among being a tax expert, you also deal with diversified small businesses. And we have a couple of minutes left. I want to talk a little bit about this entrepreneur training that you are also well versed at as well.
Okay, definitely. I founded the Entrepreneur Training Institute in 2018, and it's on the same platform or structure as a community college. However, the state considers us vocational education because we don't offer degrees, we offer certifications. And it's really designed for people who are looking to become self-employed or just kind of want to know how you structure. Because what I find, people can go in and do business, they just don't manage the business. And so we teach them the management piece of doing business. We offer 4 courses. We offer small business or entrepreneur development. We offer nonprofit development. We offer personal income tax preparation. And our newest one is basic bookkeeping for small businesses. And again, they come out with a certification, and it's designed again for people to have a self-employment arm. Even if they're working, when they finish with us, they should at least be able to operate self-employment legally. That comes in handy. Have you found that as we're coming out of the pandemic phase of things, more people are interested in becoming self-sufficient in terms of business? Well, I think the pandemic kind of brought that out because some people had to. You know, they discovered they wanted to eat, even if they didn't have a job, they still needed to eat. So we do find that, but we also find that it was, you know, when I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but are not prepared to do the work. Because, you know, not to get your business established legally, administratively, you know, I just, I can cook, I just need to order a restaurant, you know, open a restaurant.
Exactly.
But we did find an upswing, and even Department of Labor has found an upswing in self-employment. That's why you see the numbers say unemployment is down.
Oh, that's interesting. So if anybody is interested in learning more about what you are just talking about, how can they reach you? What is your contact info?
Okay, my bookkeeping service, again, Diversified Small Business Service, that's a bookkeeping and tax business.
Got it.
And that's at mybookkeeper01.com. That's my website.
Okay.
And for the Institute, it's myetinstitute.org, because the Institute is actually a 501c3 organization.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I have enjoyed having you on the show, and I've enjoyed the information. I didn't like much of the tax stuff, but I've enjoyed the general overall conversation that we've had. And I always emphasize learning something new on this show, and you did teach us something new tonight, and I really, really appreciate you being here.
Wonderful. Exactly. Thank you.
Go ahead, go away. Have a great evening. And we'll talk to you down the road. Thank you so much, Beverly. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Take care. I appreciate it.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, this has been a really good show tonight. I hope that you all enjoyed it. And as Brent plays us out, really, you know, I've been looking forward to doing this one tonight because there's a lot of good information that a lot of us need, and I hope that you picked up and learned about it. Once again, program note, next Monday night, I am scheduled to have District Attorney Steve Mulroy join me on this show. So if you can make it, that would be great. If you can tell folks about it, that'd be even better. So once again, thank you humbly thank you for taking some time. A lot of you out here on the line, and I see my brother out here. My brother is in Los Angeles, California, and he's checking me out tonight. It's been a minute for him, so I'm good to see him, and good to see all the rest of you out there. Jeannie Ali and Bridget and Jennifer and Randy and Dietrich McGee and Dana Owens and, oh my God, Michael Harris, so many. So listen, if the Lord says so, we'll be back here next week, same time, same station, same chair, and we'll try to do it just a little bit better. So in the meantime, for Nicole and for Bryn, who did a great job on the board tonight. We miss Lola. Lola's not with us tonight, but we miss you, Lola, and hopefully you'll be back with us next week. But in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and let's watch out for all of us overall. What do you think, right? Sounds good. So you have a great week. Be safe. Look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. I'm Chip, and I'm out.